أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم اللعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد ومحمد. يا إخواني وأخواتي, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers and sisters, peace of Allah be upon you, inshallah. So we continue with the book Filipino Combat System. There is directly after the part I lectured earlier, the martial path, there is also another quick introductional text, which is very interesting. All the book is not like that. I selected these two texts because they were very general, very interesting, very in a universal kind of interest. So I selected them after there is a lot of stories on the development of the art, stuff like that, specific of the school, the CV, curriculum vitae of the teachers, the student, stuff like that. So it's more like mundanity. It's part of the book, I understand. I can read for me and benefit, but it's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is really these two introductional texts, and also a retrospective on the history of Filipino martial arts and the interaction with the Muslim heritage, which is the backbone of the Filipino martial arts. Even most of the Filipinos are Christian. It is via the bias of colonization, and the interaction was not that peaceful as was the interaction with the Islamic faith. So it is interesting because we got here a logo of the school of the author. I don't know if you can see it good, but like you know, in martial arts, logo are very important. That's why I developed mine, because I promote Islamic martial arts. So I didn't pass the opportunity to engineer one of mine. But in this one, there is an explication of the logo, and it is quite interesting. Pictured above the author's Wado Karate Jujutsu logo. So it's from, I think, a karate background. For those who don't know, karate is a martial arts it was developed in Okinawan Island, in Japanese archipelago, and Philippines are also a group of island, and Indonesia are group of island too. And the three have great interaction in the past. For those who don't know, a lot of scholars of karate can trace back the origin of Okinawan karate from the Philippines, and from the Philippines, from Indonesia, and from Indonesia, from the main continent, the province of Champa. So modern time, Cambodia, Thailand, and stuff like that. So interaction between Indian culture and Chinese culture with a twist of Islam. Because for those who don't know, some princes and kings of the Champa tribe were Muslims, and even some of them are labeled and recorded in history as Shia Muslims. So it is very interesting. So you can see the symbol of his school is Al-Hamama, which is une colombe en français, which is the bird of peace, the symbol of peace everywhere in the world. And in the disc here, In the black disk, it is called the kanji. There is an explication of the logo. The kanji, Japanese pictograph, in the disk above, the dove. So the dove is the equivalent of الحمامة بالعربية and la colombe en français. In English, it is dove. The kanji in the disk means wa. So wa, W-A, which means in Japanese peace. And this is the root also salam in Arabic, Islam, which is a peaceful way to surrender to God from the Muslim devotee. This is the concept. And this is also a concept shared with the Japanese culture. Within the dove is a kanji for Bushido. So this is up this line, Bushido, the way of the warrior, the way. So the path, so Sirat. This is interesting. This is not by mine, but from the author. So the way of the warrior as a path of peace. And this is here, there is a link between this logo with the different kanji, different spelling in Japanese inside the logo, the choose of the dove as an emblem, and the next part. The way of the warriors as a path of peace. Siratul Salam. Peace, 3 points. It is always in your thoughts and in our dreams. We talk about it. We pray for it. We kill for it. 3 points. Peace is perhaps the most complex and elusive concept that humanity has ever attempted to comprehend. We have always failed to bring peace to realization. It's like an utopia, something we tend to, but we are not able to grasp because the inherent nature of ourselves, our flaws, our waste. In the vast expanse of human history, the only record of a true condition of peace lies in the realm of myth and in the promise of religious text. So for those who don't know, in the scriptures, in mythological religion, all that, there is an utopia about peace. And there is also figures of salvation. For the Christian counterpart, it is embodied in Jesus Christ, for example. For the Muslims, Shia, like me, it is embodied in the general Muslim. In general, they accept the text relating to the Mahdi al-Muntazar. عجل الله فرجه الشريف ونحن معه إن شاء الله. So there is a figure of salvation, of peace, of equity between men, but it is a direct reflection of God's will and not man-made. So the figure of salvation is always a deputy of God and not the fruit of the man's labor. So peace in the full term is not attainable by the human. It is imposed by God at key moments, at like the Armageddon concept and stuff like that. So the eschatological part in the Abrahamic faith. In the vast extent of human history, the only record of true condition of peace, and not peace treaties, or not accalmie in French, so a period of treaties and non-aggression agreement, lies in the realm of myth or in the promises of religious text. And this is exactly the case. So we know that peace is the best way, it's a necessity, but we can't, as human, with our flaws, have it at all. The collective human conscious seems to be aware that peace is something that is supposed to exist. There is supposed to be more to life, to existence, than that which we now know. We should be at peace with God. We should be at peace with our fellow man. At the very least, we should be at peace with ourselves. We are on the whole none of the above. So in theory, we tend to peace, but in practice, we are unable to stabilize its existence and make it potent in our daily life as an individual or as a collectivity. Ours is a world of violence and hate. Our words is the word of violence and hate. We all cry out together, peace, peace. But there is no peace. Everyone wants peace, but no one seems to have a very clear idea of what peace is. Most people tend to think of peace in a personal terms of contentment and safety. So we mistake sometimes peace with security. We think that if we have exactly what we want, and if no one is going to try to take it from us, we will be at peace. And this is, of course, an illusion. We think that we will find peace with ourselves through the realization of our desires. This is a popularly held illusion, but it is an illusion nonetheless. The concept is flawed in several ways. First of all, no one ever gets everything they want. The fulfillment of desire spawns more desires. So the more you have, the more you want. And the more you are a threat to your neighbor, to your fellow man. The more we have, the more we want. Secondly, the more we have, the more we have to lose. So possessions are like chains for the human. And even long hope are chains for the human. So we are in a state of slavery from within. This creates dread and apprehension of loss. So the more we have, the less we can be in peace because of the fear of losing. Thirdly, the more we have, the more we will generate the desire in others to take that which is ours. So the more you have, even if you found a kind of philosophy or peace in owning something, you just lights the desire of the other people, which has not reached your state of consciousness. So this is a never-ending circle of greed and of broken peace also. So thirdly, the more we have, the more we'll generate the desire in other to take that which is ours. So which is in our possession will be the target of other. Human history is, for the most part, the story of individuals trying to kill one another so that they might claim the prize which they seek to win from their adversary. And this is exactly the same in modern societies. Nothing changed. So, this system of finding justification to take from the other is problematic. No matter of laws you make, of flawed laws you make to give you an alibi to steal from the other. It is not legal in the godly justice. Sometimes this prize is autonomy from the control or influence of the other party. Sometimes the prize is the land or other physical property of the opponent. The nerves of war. Often we fight simply because the ideas of our foe threaten the ideas which we hold sacred and dear. And as you know, there was many modern wars and warfare made in the name of democracy, in the name of particular values of particular people from particular region of the world that were expanded to the whole world because of the superiority, timed superiority during a short span of technology or stuff like that, which was headed for most part from obnoxious greed, and this is problematic. Peace seems to be something that is outside of the human realm of comprehension. It is akin to our conception of God and of love, the true word with majuscule writing. So peace seems to be something that is outside of the human realm of comprehension. We are unable to comprehend, to understand what peace is with our poor understanding. We made the error to think that the more we have, the more the other are unable to take from us, the more we are at peace. When we are triggering wars by this behavior, maybe internal or external. It is akin to our comprehension of God and of love. So, like the concept of God, like the concept of love, we are unable to understand the concept of peace. Peace is a thing whose existence we can postulate, but we fail miserably at delving any further into its nature and substance. We got a definition, we know it is important, but we are unable to reach and to understand its true nature and to understand its substance, جوهر أو ماهية. This condition brings to mind the musing of Heinrich Zimmer. So Heinrich Zimmer was an historian of South Asian art and a colleague of mythologist Joseph Campbell and psychologist Carl Jung. Donc Carl Jung. Retain this name. Carl Jung. J-U-N-G. For those who don't know, and I have a collection of a certain collection, which is a famous collection for esoterists, which is called the Eranos Yearbook. So the book, annual book of Eranos meeting. It was in Zurich, Switzerland, and it features a lot of articles in German, also in English, and also in French of great masters of different fields, religion, psychology, science, meditation, and stuff like that. So it is a very interesting collection. And one of the particularity of this channel, it is that I am able to share some of the articles and some lectures about that, which are connected, can be connected, I will see in this book, with martial arts and with some approach. Martial arts in its optimal way, it's really close related to spirituality. And that's why there is an interconnection between spirituality. For those who don't know, Carl Jung was also a contemporary and exchanged a lot with a great figure of Islamology and publicist and master of some very interesting study in French, and from Henri Corbin, for those who don't know, which wrote extensively on Shia Islam, also on Tasawwuf, so the Sufi spirituality in the eyes of the Sunni madhab, so the Sunni jurisprudence. So this is very interesting and very nice touch to cross this name in a book dedicated to martial arts of South Asian East, and particularly Filipino martial arts. This condition brings to mind the musing of Heinrich Zimmer, who once complained that the best things in life cannot be spoken of, and the second best are always misunderstood. So we can talk directly on the bad things in lives. We are unable to. Most of the time, people try to speak of God with their own words and not quoting a sacred book, for example, or prophet made formulas and concept and stuff like that. Most of the time, they can't stand that test. They are not eloquent anymore. Even they were poet from profession, they lose, because these concepts are not easy to grasp. That's why there is some consecrated formula from a very codified way of speaking about God, and there is very broad area of mistakes when you speak directly. And the second best are always misunderstood. So of the best things you can speak of it, the best, God, for example, and the second are most of the times misunderstood. You can't, you're unable to understand them. This summarizes our dilemma. Ultimate peace is beyond our comprehension. We cannot begin to address it with words. Peace is entangled with the concept of the divine, which likewise put us at a loss for words. So here the author is very realist. Our pathetic attempt at the next best thing is an intellectual realization of the prerequisites for states of being that is void of open holistics between the members of humanity. This clouded vision leads to even more confusion and hostility. So our misunderstanding of what is truly peace and its nature and its substance leads to even more confusion and chaos and hostility between men on the face of earth. That's why when you hear people removing from the earth other people in the name of democracy, stuff like that, you can be sure it is not peace. It is confusion and lie. It is a genocidal way of doing. In short, humanity is messed up. In short, humanity is messed up. Really messed up. The only foreseeable outcome to our dilemma is measured in nuclear megatonnage. The only foreseeable outcome to our dilemma is measured in nuclear megatonnage. So the end of our dilemma, if there is a chance it end, will not be in a peaceful way. It will be by the removal of the anti-human race by its own hand. God didn't ask us to produce nuclear weapon that can blow away the population of Earth in one strike. We are responsible of that. The only way there is going to be peace on Earth outside of the miraculous intervention of God is if we annihilate ourselves. So, real peace is unreachable. It can be touched only by the grace of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not from the human beings themselves. They are unable to catch it. They are unable to understand it. The mistake agreed from domination to with peace. The world cannot know peace as long as men walk upon it. Very realistic line. Men are not peaceful creatures. No. The only way to kill the disease is to kill the organism that harbors it. This solution is, of course, unacceptable. How then can we find some semblance of peace within ourselves and within our world? Interrogation point. All of the words philosophy and all of the words religion have not brought about peace. This is not to say that the premise of a peace that passed understanding is not available to those who, as an article of faith, believe in a peace which is to come in the next life, or in the scripturally foretold divine kingdom of God upon the earth. So it will come regarding the different expression of faith with the eschatological Abrahamic views, with the figure of the Mashiach for the Jews, with the variation of the figure of the Christ for the Christian, or in variation in the Muslim faith with the figure of المهدي المنتظر عجل الله فرجه الشريف ونحن معه إن شاء الله. But this is straight representative of God and His kingdom on earth. So by design, men are unable to reach peace, even from the angle of understanding from the mind. So if the mind cannot reach something, how the body will do? Faith bring with it a spiritual peace. So faith is related to peace in the term of spirituality. Faith, when you believe, and this is like the title of this book, Faith, la foi et la force, the faith and the strength. Faith brings with it a spiritual peace. It does not offer a cessation of earthly wars and hostilities. Religious belief is, in my opinion, essential in coping with the fact that there is no peace in the here and now. There is no peace in the here and now. هون والآن ما في السلام باللسان بالكلمات فقط. It promises a brighter future. So الدنيا والآخرة. So this is in the next life that religion promise peace for those who stood steadfast to the rope of salvation and who had good conduct and who keep the spiritual peace by the use and the practice of faith, the faithful. It promises a brighter future. Our religion purport to offer path to peace with God. So peace with man is unreachable, but peace with God exists by definition in the religious doctrine. No religion or philosophy offer a quick fix for the immediate problem of our imperfection or a cure for the violence which this imperfection breeds. Despite the differences of opinions as to the nature of God and the path by which one may gain access to Him, everyone should be able to agree that whatever the true divine path is, humanity falls short of the ability to walk that path without error. The listeners are unable to comprehend the message. The prophet speaks, but we use his words, as it best suit our own needs and desires. It is said that Kaishapa, the legendary founder of the Zen sect of Buddhism, received a secret transmission of truth when the Buddha, with a smile, lifted up a flower to his disciples. This epiphany experience was lost on all of the disciples except Kaishapa. Kaishapa, the name of a disciple, alone, because he comprehended the message in his heart, not with his mind. So he comprehended what is by inspiration, ilham in Arabic. The heart is often betrayed by the mind. So there is a difference between the two. All too often, we are so caught up in our lofty, preconceived notion of higher truth that we forget the wordless wisdom of the beauty conveyed when we stop to smell the rose as Kaishapa did. So there is layers of education, of shortcuts, of trick in our mind, but there is a primitive way to respond and to understand with the earth, with the heart, without artifices. We are usually willing to kill for the truth. So everyone who have the arrogance to tell that he attained truth want to kill for it. And most of the time for his own plan, for his own plan, and not in the correct way asked by God. All conflicts are not holy wars. Holy wars are the only wars that are labeled such by God. So you can't pick a fight, for example, and say this is jihad, this is a holy campaign, this is crusade. No. It's just crusade, crossing iron with enmity, with other antagonist, fellow man, in the face of earth. And God saw everything. When we think we have attained truth, we are usually willing to kill for that truth. For that truth. We exterminate those who follow another ethos because we can label them as heretics. kuffar. History tells us that the Catholics killed the Muslims and the Protestants. The Muslims killed the Christians. The Nazi killed the Jew. And like never-ending circles, now we see the Jews killing the Muslim, for example. Everybody hates everybody else. We have always hated one another, and we always will. It's part of the human nature. For this mortal sin, we sentence ourselves to the punishment of hating ourselves. Many go one step further and hate God because we cannot live up to His or our own standards. Even from the standards man-made, and speak about as a country of liberty or a society of democracy and stuff like that, we can't live to the boundaries we choose to promote and defend. And even more from the standards of God Almighty, which is the archetypal standards that we try to emulate in an altered way. Peace on earth seems to be at lost, cause peace in the great beyond is a matter of faith. It helps us to cope with the present situations that we found ourselves in, but it does not offer a cessation of the hostile world environment in which we now exist. A world of quick change, a world of violence. The property change from a man to another, when a man kill another man to take. We are predators, we are prey too. So we live in the world of here and now, a violent world. How can we find peace? And what is peace? Let us begin by realizing what peace is not. So we need to use negative attributes to define something we can't understand intuitively, because our heart is tainted. Our understanding, primitive, basic understanding, is flawed by the darkness of our thoughts, which lies in our minds. How can we find peace? And what is peace? Let us begin by realizing what peace is not. Peace is not, in the context in which it can be known in this world, an environmental condition. Peace, as we can know, it is not the result of the condition in which you live. Peace is an inward condition that comes about when one learns to transcend the walls of this life and come to terms with something beyond oneself. So when you transcend your humanity, when you go back to the root, to الأصل, to the origin, with الرجعة, like you found in this logo, for example, أصلي رجاعي. So أصلي, original, to the origin. رجعي, return. And a circle to the الأصل. Beyond oneself. So peace is an inward condition, باطن, that comes about when one learns to transcend the woes of this life and come to terms with something beyond oneself. It has been suggested that if we can find the why of our life, we can bear most anyhow. It is an extract from Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. Meaning, which is a derivation of the Arabic word ma'na, which means signification. Peace must be a oneness of body, mind, and spirit. So here there is a definition of peace. Peace must be oneness, so unity of body, mind, spirit. So سلام هي توحيد بين الجسم أو الجسد مع العقل مع الروح. So the oneness of body, mind and spirit. So in French, la définition de paix est l'unité entre le corps, l'esprit et l'âme. Même si ici la traduction en anglais traduit l'âme par spirit. Mais en arabe, l'Esprit Saint, Ruh al-Quddus, c'est l'âme en fait. Peace is found in the answers to the question that our heart asks of us. I address my thoughts on the answers that the question of the heart in my previous book, Bushido, a modern adaptation of the ancient code of the samurai. Our current interest is in the more physical and mental aspect of the fighting art and its benefits we can derive from them. So maybe the book of the same author, which is Mark Edward Cody, Bushido, 2. A modern adaptation of the ancient code of the samurai, is an interesting find. I will try to have one copy, inshallah, one day. It is my belief that we can find a true peace outside of the realm of the spiritual. So I retry. It is my belief that we can find no true peace outside the realm of the spiritual. So there is no peace by definition, by design, in this world, apart from a divine decree and action. So the only peace we can find is at an individual degree in the realm of spirituality. And this is the position of the author. To this end, I feel that much that is found within the martial arts may be taken as moving metaphor for spiritual principle. So, for the author, the poetry in motion of martial arts and its flow, it's a direct moving metaphor of the archetypal principles and values found in spirituality expressed in the material world. Very interesting point. And I, of course, share the same conclusion and understanding from my research myself, even before getting this book. I believe that the martial arts offer a coordination of body, mind, and spirit that is conducive to finding inner peace. I believe that the study of the martial arts continue to be a worthwhile endeavor because the pursuit of this warrior path makes us better human beings. And of course, a human that knows that he has flaws by design because he is needy of food, needy of expansion, greedy at times. He's a predator at times. He's a prey at another times. If a man knows better its nature, he can cut himself in a remote place with his mind. He's better than an animalistic human being who can only react, who can only withhold attacks when he can't, and unleash the wrath of his nature to others, inflict to them damages by seizing the property, killing his fellow man, and stuff like that. To follow the way of the warrior is to ask the question of yourself that others fear to ask. To seek out and find the answer to the questions is to attain enlightenment. Enlightenment is, in Japanese, satori. And it is the title of Buddha, which is the enlightened, for example. And you find also equivalent of metaphor of luminous nur in Islam, the enlightenment, al-anwar al-sati'a, for example. So, so after that, he promotes his art martial. So it was Mark Edward Cody. He writes this the 10th February 2003. And it was the interesting part of this short so this is the end of this video. Next time I will go deeper to the next chapter in the history of martial art in Philippines and its interaction with the Islamic faith. It is very important. And I think we will have finished with this book. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. التمس الدعاء معكم إلى اللقاء.